Chewy, you said something last night about one of the problems that we always do is we get secondhand shit not fit for purpose, and then this kind of thing happens. Literally today, they're talking about getting secondhand ferries instead of it. Let's have a look at the story from News Hub tonight.
The ferries are still coming and going, but at the terminal and along the wharf, it's tools down, and it's got the unions mad.
We're seeing this project develop, and we're behind it, but it's just astounding. It's just to be canned so quickly.
Finance Minister Nicola Willis announced yesterday Cabinet declined to fund Kiwi Rail's IREX project.
It's a pretty cool looking ferry. I mean, you know, we're not going to see it, but she's pretty dope looking.
Because the cost has gone from $1.5 billion to almost $3 billion now for unions.
Well, that's not entirely true what they're saying, because they said then they're not ordering the ferries because the cost has gone from 1.5 million to 3. Now, the cost of the ferries hasn't changed at all. They're locked into a contract with that. The cost has to do with the terminals and what they need to do to those terminals, which is some hand is in the government's control, because it's all about seawalls and earthquaking. And there's a big part of this, which actually the government, and I'm not saying they shouldn't do it, but they have control over some of the increase in costs due to the increase in regulations. Not saying it's bad. I mean, we want buildings not to fall down. But that's actually a lot of the reason that the cost has gone up. And we'll play this too, but some of the maritime unions and the unions themselves who have thought they would have had jobs for the next 6 years are now pretty unhappy.
Representing maritime and rail workers are calling for Willis to resign.
I think she should stand down with making such a big call without having a lot of debate.
Do you resign? No, this was a decision made by Cabinet. It is the right decision for New Zealand.
Kiwi Rail says it might still have to build the 2 ferries already on order and then sell them.
But the new ships aren't causing the budget blowouts. It's costs for things like sea walls and wharf upgrades to meet seismic and flood requirements. Kiwi Rail CEO is questioning who should be footing the bill for that in the first place.
You know, if Air New Zealand bought in large planes, they wouldn't have to pay for all the upgrades for the terminals.
Kiwi Rail, the government and other
interesting point. Yeah, interesting point.
What happens next? The finance minister is adamant, though, there will be new ferries, just not the ones Kiwi Rail wanted.
The Ferrari is not the only car in the garage. I think it's time we had a look and see if there's a Toyota Corolla, good reliable one, that might be able to do the job, or maybe some second-hand Teslas.
I think they'd be more like a Lada. I don't think we're going to find what they're looking for, to be truthful.
Either way, both the mayors of Wellington and Marlborough want a quick solution.
No, I still have some hope that there will be solutions found, but it is a necessary part of our state highway network and journeys.
We still need a new plan, and I think that's the thing that I'll be talking to Kiwi Rail and the government about. It's vital.
Vital to keep the islands connected. Leighton Hakel, News Hub.
There you go, Chewy. So you called it last night. You called it about that looking at buying something secondhand that wasn't fit for purpose. But that information tonight, specifically about, sorry, my brain just turned off. Oh, that's right. About perhaps Kiwi Rail still having to build and buy these things and then sell them off is just another layer on this ridiculous grandstand we're on right now.
I think some of the other things I said last night as well, equally true. It's she wants to focus on the fact that the ferries have got more expensive because that's easier for the public to swallow. When it's cost blowouts on the actual infrastructure that needs doing. If anybody has gone through Wellington's ferry terminal, it is tired. It's right on a fault line. We've had a couple of big earthquakes in recent years. And you're looking at that and going, oh, maybe it does need to be strengthened. You know, if they are bigger ferries, because our population has grown. We need bigger boats. We need reliable boats. We need something that's designed for this country and the conditions that these boats are going to have to go on.
Yeah.
I did see Kiwi Rob here. He said a few interesting comments about the ferries. I'm going to highlight this one, though. Why can't Wellington Council help in the cost? And I honestly, I don't have an answer for this.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I think it's a fair point. But I mean, is it just Wellington that gets the economic benefits of
Wellington? But Wellington certainly. Well, I mean, I think the head of Kiwi Rail who talked about airports. I mean, if it was a new wing of Auckland International Airport, they would get most of the benefit from that, even though people are landing then going off to Queenstown or going off to Northland or going off to Wellington. Certainly the location that the terminal is in gets the primary advantage from it. Other places get as well. But I think that's a really good question that the guy from Kiwi Rail asked, and I don't have any problems with searching for an answer for that. Why are Kiwi Rail having to build their own terminal? I mean, unless it's this, Chewy, if Kiwi Rail are the only people to use that terminal and the only one to profit from that terminal, maybe there's a case. Whereas the airport example has 20 different companies flying into it who all pay to fly into
They'll
it.
pay their landing fees and stuff like
So
that. But I mean, the flip side of that is cool. That's one end of it, right? So I guess the tiny town of Picton is going to pick up the cost for their terminal. Is it if a bridge needs doing on State Highway 1 in South Canterbury, does the Timaru District Council have to pay for it?
Yeah.
You know,
your point is
not
fair.
as clear cut. Like, I honestly don't know if this is a stupid idea or whether there's another way of funding it. But again, from a government that is laser focused on tax cuts and always has been, and then can't afford to fund something, then maybe we're looking at the wrong problems.